Good question. That depends on what the situation is. Every time you have a definite problem, something that we can circumscribe, a problem at work. You don't know if you're gonna continue at your job or not, or if you don't know if you're going to get a certain job or any other thing like that. Or relationships. Will this relation last? Will she marry me? Will he marry me? Will he give me the divorce? Will she give me the divorce? Is there a future in this relationship? Can I keep this relationship alive? Things like that. Any time we can focus on a certain part of life, horary is better. Horary is always more precise. It's always easier for the astrologer. Okay, not always, but most of the time it's easier for the astrologer. It's way more precise and way faster. But sometimes there are times in life in which we don't have a focus of problems. Because even if you have several of them, several different problems, you solve one at a time. I have a lot of problems, but today what bugs me most is my job. So I ask a horary question about that. Then a couple of days later, the state of my relationship bugs me. So I go to a horary astrologer and ask something about that. It's okay. It's not necessary for horary to work that you have only one problem in your life. But as long as we can focus on each of them, horary is better, always better. Because horary is a thing of focus. The question arises when the client is really paying attention to something. Okay? But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes the client is lost, but doesn't have a definite problem. Sometimes he's worried about a certain time of life, not a certain event. Or sometimes he wants to plan things, like I want to know if there will be any major career changes, and if my wife will be pregnant, and another thing, because I have to plan this year ahead. Or I don't know, if the client has a long-lasting problem, a long-lasting health problem, for example, that it's not really a question, not what should I do, but he wants to understand that. Not just what can I do to improve it, but he wants to understand the origin of the problem and how it developed over the years and things like that. Anytime you have to investigate either a period of time without focusing on just one event or one problem, one question, or things that happen throughout the life of the client. In these cases, natal work is best because horary cannot work with all those things at once. Not sit in front of a horary astrologer and ask, I want to know if I'm going to get this job, if my wife or my husband is going to divorce me, am I pregnant or is she pregnant, and my cat disappeared, will it come home, and my mother is sick, is it serious? Horary astrology doesn't work like that. But you can sit in front of a natal astrologer and ask, I want to know if it's not, how will next year be in my career? And you give the astrologer context, of course. My relationship, is it a probable time to to have a child? Are there testimonies of problems with my parents and things like that? It's much less precise, but at least in theory, you can do it all at once, while you cannot do that in Horary. There is one area of life that, even though Horary is still more precise, natal can help, and help a lot. Although the help seems to be basic, and it is basic, it can help a lot. It's health. Horary works well when we are asking about diseases. But knowing the temperament of the client and any major health issue that the natal chart suggests is almost always important. It's not always important, but almost always. Because for example, we receive a question from someone on health, and we cast a Horary chart, judge it, and decide that the problem is an excess of, I don't know, blood, not the thing that runs in our veins, but the humor. We are not physicians. We cannot prescribe medical treatment, but there are a lot of things that an astrologer may suggest to a client to improve such an issue. But there is quite a big difference in a lot of things between fighting an excess of blood from a sanguine person and fighting an excess of blood in a person that has any other of the four temperaments: a choleric person, a phlegmatic person, a melancholic person, who has a temporary excess of blood, because it may happen. People from any of the four temperaments, or people who have mixed temperaments, people who have no discernible temperament, can have an excess, a temporary excess of any of the four humors. So if you're dealing with a sanguine person, you get rid of the excess of blood, and that's it. If you're dealing with a melancholic person, if you get rid of the excess of blood, and the person keeps doing the things you said they could do to get rid of it, they will get sick. They will go from one disease to another, because they are naturally without much blood. Again, the humor, not the red thing that runs in our veins. So they cannot expel more than what is now, at this moment, in excess, causing that problem. So knowing the person's temperament is very useful in this case.